Welcome back to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA, and today we're going to talk about the clinch. Just because we're doing kickboxing and there's no clinch in it, in Muay Thai and other types of fights, you always end up in that clinch range. And that clinch range happens for many different reasons. If you're good and you're a Muay Thai fighter, you want to enter that range to be effective. You know, it's good defense to be in the clinch. You shut down a good power puncher by grabbing. It's also a safety thing. If you're getting hit with a lot of shots, boom, you can use the clinch to defend against constant punches. But a lot of times you end up in that clinch when you don't want to. So for example, if I overthrow my punches, I'm falling into techniques. Or if you're fighting someone who doesn't want to back up, and you might sit here and you get into those messy clinch exchanges, and that's where you get into those messy fights. But when you end up in there, you have to know what you're doing in there. And the biggest mistake we're going to talk about in this video is when you come down and you block with your hands. Big mistake, and I hate when I see people doing that because it just shows a lack of experience. So in this video, you're gonna get 4 basic clinch grips that you can use when you get into that range. So the first one, quickly briefed out, is gonna be getting your hands on the inside, outside, having one hand controlled, and the low clinch, where you can grab around the waist and control your opponent that way. So whether you're a clinch fighter or just a kickboxer or even just a straight boxer, you need to know what to do when you get into this clinch exchange. So before we get into what you should do with your grips, we're going to talk about things you shouldn't do, and I'm going to give you 2 different things. The main thing you want to do is if somebody grabs your neck, okay, say they get the clinch, I don't want them to be able to fold my waist. So if he pulls me down like this, now I am done and I break here. So this is when the knees can come hit me, boom, and I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble, okay? So mistake 1, don't put your hips back and let him pull you down like that, okay? The other thing you don't want to do is that from that position, I don't want to be able to block this way with the knees, okay? An advanced fighter, especially if you're fighting with knees to the face or elbows, I can eat a knee to the face, or he can come off and elbow me, boom, because I have no defense to the head. So those are 2 things you should avoid. And the quickest way to avoid those, okay, is making sure you keep your chest and your strong nice and strong, okay? So if I'm here, it's already too late. But if I'm here, I'm gonna get my hips up and I'm gonna get closer to my opponent and lift my shoulders up. This way it breaks the grip, okay? So again, he comes in, say I'm in here, from here I get stuck, I'm gonna bring my hips closer and raise my shoulders, and this way I can get up and I'm not compromising my structural position. Now let's talk about the 4 grips you can use when you enter that clinch, okay? The first and the classic one you can do is hands on the inside. So what we work on is swimming in and the other person swims in, one at a time. So when working this grip, the key is you never want to let both hands out at the same time. So for example, if Tariq has my head here and I need to swim in, I don't want to have to leave my 2 hands because then that's when he pushes me. So when I swim in, it's one hand, then the other hand. One hand, then the other hand. The last thing you want to do is go under with 2 hands, because a smart fighter can now use his elbows when your hands are off and disconnected, okay? So that's called our classic swim. And the advantage and the disadvantage of this one is here. So if my elbows are in too close here, okay, what could happen now is I could create my space and compromise your defense because you have no structural base, okay? So the elbows can move here, and in this position, I can still throw my elbows through and break the grip. So if you are elbow fighting and you need to know, you kind of keep your elbows bowed out a little bit. So now if you look here, it's on the shoulder. So when I go to elbow, he stops it and he controls, okay? Grip 2, what you can use is one I like to use, especially because of my combination style fighting. When I'm hitting someone, they like to frame up. When they're framed this way, I can enter and grab outside. So I'm still controlling their position and their hands by grabbing outside. Classically, I like to use my lead side and grip the hand here, and then this hand here just controls the arms. So I can stay here, I could elbow, but I'm in control of my opponent's hands, okay? Step 2, and this is the best one for me because I can use my elbows very easily and control my opponent. Clinch grip 3 is you can grab one hand here around the neck, and the other one you control this hand, Okay? And again, as we get more advanced in the channel, I can show you different grips you can use from here. But classically, what I like to do is I like to control here inside of the elbow. This way it opens up my round knees here. I can spin off of here and I can control them. I could also come here and grab one hand here and have more control of that hand. And lastly, it's good for me because I can get my hand on top from this position, okay? And it opens up my big elbows from that, okay? So I can control the hand in any which way I want, okay? And you can do that from both sides. I can grab this side and have a control in here. I can play, come on top, use my elbow, come inside, outside, and play. And I'm still controlling, okay, the lead side. The fourth grip is gonna be the low clinch, and this is gonna work better for Tariq, so he's gonna demonstrate it. Because he's the shorter fighter and he's more wrestling based, he wants to get inside and control. If I have high clinch here, it's hard for him to swim underneath, okay? If he goes underneath to try to go, I'm very tall and I can sit and put my weight on top of his neck. So it's easier for him when I really have a good hold of his neck and there's no room, it's best for him to grab that low clinch. Okay, so if I'm in here and he's stuck, boom, he grabs that low clinch and I can't do anything. So at this point, I can't even knee, I can't create space, I can't do anything. Now what I want Tariq to do from this grip is what he can do is he can lift up his arms, which brings my elbows up, which will open up some room for the knee. So I'm inside, I get him, he's under, he gets in, and now he can do some of his rabbit knees. Now for me in this position, if Tariq grabs again, how do I get out of this position? Okay, I'll do another video on escaping these, but the quickest one is try to get one hand under and I bring my waist out and I try to break the grip. Boom, now I break the grip. Or even better, as soon as if I know he's doing that, as soon as he goes to grab it, I shoot my hips out and now I create space to land the knee. Whether you're a kickboxer, an MMA fighter, or a Muay Thai fighter, you have to know what to do in the clinch. You want to be able to get in there and at least hold the position and not take any damage until the referee can break the fight up. Don't just stand there, don't get pulled down. At least make the adjustment, get your hips in, get your shoulders up. Don't let them pull your head down. That's the number one thing you don't want to do. So learn the different grips, clinch, grab, hold. Just do anything. If you're not comfortable, especially if you're a kickboxer fighting someone with Muay Thai rules and you're hitting with elbows, just grab, nullify the elbows. Once the ref breaks you up, that's when you can start using more of your kickboxing. And strategy changes obviously as well, which I'll do a video down the road on. Okay, so make sure you use the clinch effectively, make sure you keep watching all the videos, and we'll see you next week.